Right now at 6, federal funds pave the way for hundreds of area kids to visit a national monument.
And we've got another round of school closings today as road conditions, at least off of the main roads, not improving too much. We'll take a look at that forecast and bring you some good news coming up.
Plus, NFL fans are not the only ones jumping between streaming services to watch games. We have what you need to know.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So another very cold start to the day out there. And as we've been talking about, we said the snow wasn't going to go anywhere for a little while, and it's not.
Sticking around.
It is literally sticking around. That's why we've got a number of school closings again today. So my middle child is here. The poor kid, I'm telling you, I think he works here now. Or he's going to start to feel like he works.
When are these kids finally going to go back to school? Between Christmas break and now.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, they've had maybe a couple of days of school between the snow.
Summer all over again.
Yeah, it is. It is. But the good news is we're expecting warmer temperatures and more melting out there to take place. So main roads are looking a lot better. And this is our camera on top of the Cornell complex in downtown looking at 7th and Joplin Avenue. And you can see that for the most part, these roads a lot clearer than what they have been, but patchy black ice still an issue. I ran into that myself again approaching the Stones Corner roundabout. So most of Maine was clear. Just fine drive, and then you get up there and you've got to watch out for it because it does not take much for you to be able to lose control of your car. MoDOT cameras around the metro again showing slick spots here and there. It's at 7th and Garden Grove. Still some snow out there on some of the side roads. And, of course, a number of the neighborhood streets, back roads are still snow covered as well. KDOT cameras south of Pittsburgh on 69. 69 looking a lot better as well out there. But, again, you got to watch out for slick spots, especially on the shoulders, bridges, and overpasses. It's where we still have a lot of freezing taking place, and it's still very cold. KDOT still reporting slick spots from the far western edge of our viewing area all the way to the state line. And then up around Mound City, still listing partially covered roadways, and that does include a stretch of 69 up in Linn County. Over on the Missouri side, southwest Missouri, MoDOT reporting all of the major thoroughfares as clear. Now, as I mentioned, there's still patchy black ice out there, especially on the bridges and overpasses, but the main roads are looking a lot better. It's those side streets and back roads that are causing all those school closings that you're seeing right down there once again today because they just have not cleared out yet. But today is going to be their day. Taking a look, Skywatch Storm Tracker looking pretty good so far, and we're better. We're at 15 in Joplin, 15 in Pittsburgh, so it's still cold, I know that, but it's better. Most of us sitting in the low to mid-teens out there ahead of a much warmer day today. Wind chill's still bitterly cold as well, upwards of 10 degrees below zero. And as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at highs in the mid-30s under partly cloudy skies, so that's going to let some melting get done. Still breezy, though, south winds gusting upwards of 30. We do have some chances for some additional flurries later tonight, and it's going to get cold again, but worry not, even warmer temperatures are on the way. We'll look at that full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. A warming shelter in Miami, Oklahoma is shutting down its emergency operations today. The Good Neighbor Coalition provides resources to community members in need. During the extreme cold, they've also been serving as a warming shelter. However, they will provide that service only until noon today. Officials say they will monitor the community's need for them to open a shelter again. And the city of Neodesha, Kansas welcomes a new city administrator. The city hired Brogan Jones last fall, and he began serving in the position on Monday. He spent the past 7 months as city administrator in Marion, Kansas. Jones was a code enforcement building inspector in Lyons, Kansas for 2.5 years. And a couple of new Kansas grant programs announced yesterday that they're intending to expand the arts in the state. They're the Arts Everywhere grants and General Operating Support grants. State leaders say they'll help expand funding opportunities for a more diverse range of organizations and projects throughout the state. The goal is to help grow the Kansas economy. And a federal grant will pick up the tab for hundreds of grade school kids to visit the George Washington Carver National Monument in Diamond, Missouri. The park says that the money will pay for about 450 fourth graders from Kansas City and Springfield to travel to the park and participate in activities there this spring and summer. Park rangers will visit their classrooms before the field trips. And NFL fans are not the only ones jumping between streaming services to watch the games. Area sports bars are doing the same thing, and it's costing them a pretty penny. Old Chicago and Joplin and other area sports bars chose not to host the Chiefs wildcard playoff game due to Peacock's prices for establishments.
The NFL package is not a cheap package that we purchased from DirecTV by any means. But then to add on, for a business, it's not cheap. It's not the $5.99 that you get charged through Peacock to watch the Chiefs game. We pay per seat in the restaurant, per TV.
And the good news is you can watch the next Chiefs game Sunday night right here on KOAM. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Coachella dropped its 2024 lineup Tuesday with a surprise reunion for No Doubt. Plus, former President Donald Trump is hoping his massive win in Iowa will propel him to yet another victory in New Hampshire's primary next week. We'll have the details. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Ashley's best financing offer is available now. For a limited time only, get months. Update your home today and pay over time with incredibly low monthly payments during the New Year's sale, only at Ashley.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, Coachella dropped its 2024 lineup Tuesday with a surprise reunion for No Doubt. The popular ska punk rock band is one of the 4 headlining acts. Lana Del Rey, Doja Cat, and rapper Tyler, the Creator, are also set to headline the festival. No Doubt's appearance will mark the first time the band has performed live since at least 2015. No Doubt originally formed in the mid-90s with Gwen Stefani fronting the band. The legendary desert-centric music festival will return to Indio, California's Empire Polo Field for 2 consecutive weekends on April 12th through the 14th and April 19th through the 21st this year. And the convicted Colorado club shooter has reached a plea deal on his federal charges. Court documents show 23-year-old Anderson Lee Aldrich will plead guilty to 74 counts of federal hate crimes and gun crimes for the 2022 massacre at an LGBTQ club in Colorado Springs. Aldrich identifies as non-binary and uses they/them pronouns. According to the agreement, Aldrich would receive multiple concurrent life sentences plus additional consecutive sentences totaling 190 years imprisonment. In exchange, the United States will not seek the death penalty against Aldrich. A judge still needs to sign off on the terms. And former President Donald Trump is hoping his massive win in Iowa will propel him to yet another victory in New Hampshire's primary next week. But projected second and third place Iowa finishers Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley are looking for their own boost from Granite State voters. New Hampshire allows undeclared and independent voters to cast ballots on the GOP primary. CBS News correspondent Jared Hill has more from New York.
This morning, all eyes on New Hampshire. Former President Donald Trump in the Granite State touted his decisive win in the Iowa caucuses, taking aim at third-place finisher Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley, in particular, is counting on the Democrats and liberals to infiltrate your Republican primary.
Recent polling shows the former UN ambassador in a much tighter race with Trump here.
We have to leave the negativity and the baggage behind and go forward with new solutions for the future.
A debate set for Thursday was canceled after Haley refused to take the stage without Trump, who skipped every debate so far. The former president spent yesterday morning in a New York courtroom for the second civil defamation suit brought against him by writer E. Jean Carroll. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis also took aim at Haley, first during a quick campaign stop in her home state of South Carolina, then again at a town hall in New Hampshire.
She does not have the ability to build the type of coalition that you need to win a Republican primary, period.
I'm still the only person to ever beat Donald Trump.
Meanwhile, President Biden jumped into the fray with an Instagram post touting his 2020 win over Trump. Jared Hill, CBS News.
The GOP field tightened this week with former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson and businessman Vivek Ramaswamy dropping their bids. Former President Trump has now picked up endorsements from Ramaswamy and Republican Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Trump, Nikki Haley, and Ron DeSantis have public campaign events scheduled in New Hampshire today. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Now here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're continuing to keep an eye on these cold temperatures around the area and the fact that we still have a number of school closures out there because a lot of the side streets and back roads are still snowpacked. And we still have some black ice on some of the main roads as well, although most of them are starting to clear up pretty nicely. We're going to get a little more melting done today, which is good. And then we have another opportunity for some light snow and another round of cold temperatures. We'll take a look at that full forecast here in just a few more minutes on the KOAM Morning News.
We knew. It's peanut butter bacon time at Sonic.
Nominate your Fort State hero today.
It's said that being in space gives people a global perspective. After all, looking down at Earth, you don't see borders. But what happens on Earth still affects people up there, say on the International Space Station. David Daniel has a look at the new movie, ISS.
Ariana DeBose is a space newbie in ISS.
I mean, I've seen pictures, but this is...
We don't talk politics. Here we're one.
But that tone changes when the view changes.
Hey, guys.
Wait a minute, what the hell is going on down there?
Oh, whoa.
We gotta get up now, guys.
The crisis on Earth quickly spreads to space.
We were told to take the ISS by any means necessary.
If we got orders from our government to take control.
Kept me on the edge of my seat when I was reading it, and was just excited to be sort of in that thriller playground.
What do you suggest we do now?
DeBose put her trust in director Gabriella Cowperthwaite.
One thing I look for as an actor is, the ability to completely trust my director, and no matter how hard the material is or what I'm being asked to do physically, as long as that trust is there, then I'll be golden.
Cowperthwaite, in turn, needed the characters to trust each other at first.
Everything that everybody says matters, right? Like what they're saying and what they're feeling. They're imbued with humanity, and you have to sort of see that humanity before you see it come untethered.
Even a dancer like DeBose found the zero-G action challenging.
My dance background and my understanding of physicality was very helpful in this work. I also had to remind myself to stop pointing my toes. This is a scientist, this is not a dancer.
Oh, truly, we're evolved species.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, looks pretty good. Now let's take it over to Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
As we've mentioned, still some black ice possible on some of the main roadways, even though they may look clear. Slick spots will be possible across the area. And of course, a number of side streets, back roads still snowpacked. But there's some good news on the way as we might get some melting done over the next couple of days. We'll have the latest on that forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Sale is back with a storm of cozy seating that we need to celestial skies. These heroes know how to make an entrance.
Heroes and Icons, KOAM TV, channel 7.4.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:19 on this Wednesday morning. Taking a look at the road conditions, KDOT still reporting some slick spots from the far western side of our viewing area all the way to the state line in our southern counties, and still some partially covered roadways up in Linn counties around the Mound City area, and that does include a stretch of 69 up there as well. So be aware of that this morning. Now on the MoDOT side, down in our region, they're reporting everything as clear, but there's still slick spots possible. Clear just means you can see the road again, and we've got mostly clear roads out there looking pretty good. But black ice still a possibility, and as I mentioned earlier, I ran into some again at near Stone's Corner. Even though the majority of Main Street from the city side to MoDOT side was clear, there's still some patchy black ice out there. You've really got to watch out on bridges and overpasses again this morning. And of course, side streets, back roads, those still pretty well snowpacked. Our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin, 7th Joplin, looking great out there. Still some patchy slick spots here and there, but major improvements compared to the last couple of days. MoDOT cameras around the metro area. Again, the 7th and Garden Grove one, just the position of that street light that's right behind this banner makes it perfect where you can see where some of those slick spots still are out there. And even at the intersection, still some snow pile or some snowpack packed there on Garden Grove itself. KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh on 69 looks good, but if you look at the shoulders, there's still slick spots and even little bits of snow out there. KDOT camera Kansas Crossing, again, major improvements compared to what we have seen the last few days, but you still want to slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going. And of course, if you're leaving your home, you got to watch out on the neighborhood streets as well, as they're still pretty snow-packed. The good news is today is going to be the first day of great opportunities for melting across the area. We're going to have gusty south winds, partly cloudy skies, and temperatures into the mid-30s out there today. Now tonight, again, I know on the future track it makes it look like there's another huge round of snow coming. The good news is there's not. There is the possibility of some flurries and some light snow as we go overnight tonight, but take a look at those temperatures. They're also, they're below freezing, they're cold, but they're a lot better than where we have been. So we're just really looking at maybe a dusting on, say, grassy surfaces, and of course you got to watch out again on bridges, overpasses, where the snow might stick a little better, but even then it's not going to be much, but it's going to be enough to cause additional slick spots. However, our Thursday, we're looking mostly cloudy skies, but temperatures once again into the mid, even upper 30s out there. And then clouds increase as we go through the day and into the evening, and winds shift out of the south and go out of the north. And our temperatures are going to fall rather quickly back behind that as well. We're sitting at 15 in Joplin right now. South-southwest breeze at 14 makes it feel like 1. But that beats 20 below zero that we saw yesterday. Temperature's not bad out there. In fact, we're seeing some improvements, a lot more upper teens, closer to the mid-teens across the area. But we still have some gusty winds, some breezy conditions, so our wind chill's still down there below zero, upwards of 5-6 degrees below zero. But again, that still beats the 20 below that we were seeing yesterday at this time. We're going to go again, mid-30s today, partly cloudy, south breeze gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. As we head into this evening, again, some light flurries, brief light snow will be possible. Wind chills 10 to 15 above zero, which is also good. Still cold, but that's better. With south winds still gusting upwards of 30, lows into the low 20s. Our Thursday, mostly cloudy. We're going to go mid-30s again, so some more melting taking place before temperatures begin to drop later in the evening. And unfortunately, we're going to go from mid-30s Thursday afternoon to the single digits once again for overnight lows by Thursday night. Much colder Friday and Saturday, and much colder overnight. However, as we head into the second half of the weekend and the start of the next work week, it's where things get better. Yeah, we've got rain chances, but I'll take rain chances because these temperatures are going to go back into the low to mid-40s, and we're finally going to get back to where we're supposed to be. That's Check Your Forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Caitlin with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, California lawmakers may vote today on a proposed ban on tackle football for children under 12 years old. National correspondent William Lejeunesse is in Los Angeles to look at both sides in this legislative line of scrimmage.
1 million children ages 5 and up play tackle football in the U.S. California aims to change that.
Kids only have one brain, only have one life, and there's irreversible damage to kids' brains that is totally unnecessary.
Assemblyman Kevin McCarty's bill bans tackle football for children under 12 or roughly 7th grade.
5, 6, 7, 8, 11-year-old should not be experiencing hundreds of subconcussive hits to the head on an annual basis when there is an alternative.
Supporters, even this former college player, cite the risk.
It is a very dangerous and violent sport. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Repetitive head impacts, regardless of impact severity, lay the foundation for brain injury.
But football, opponents say, is unfairly singled out.
There's been no pressure to limit participation in lacrosse, soccer, or ice hockey, which all have concussion rates similar to youth tackle football.
I'm Sam Boyce. I play for Bear River Junior Bruins, and I strongly oppose this bill.
Many parents see this as yet another government attack on their rights to decide what's in their child's best interest. They also say the bill robs those in the poorest neighborhoods an opportunity.
Youth tackle football is embedded in these communities, and it is the lifeblood, and it serves as a vehicle to education, opportunity, alternatives to some really negative activities.
A Washington Post poll found a majority of conservatives favor youth tackle football. Liberals do not. Now, Democrats outnumber Republicans 3-1 in the state assembly and Senate. I'm told the vote this week could be close, likely Thursday.
And a study of veterans who are managing chronic illnesses finds an intervention program conducted by nurses and social workers over the phone leads to improvements in depression, anxiety, and the participants' quality of life. Researchers from the University of Colorado also found that the improvement lasts months after the intervention ends. And video gamers worldwide may be risking irreversible hearing loss as well as persistent ringing in the ears known as tinnitus. New research published in the journal BMJ Public Health finds sound levels reported in studies of more than 50,000 people are often close to or exceed safe limits. And a new study finds e-cigarettes help pregnant smokers quit without risks to the pregnancy. Researchers at Queen Mary University of London concluded that the regular use of nicotine replacement products during pregnancy was not associated with poor outcomes. The lead researcher says health risks to babies in the womb from smoking seem to be caused by other chemicals in tobacco smoke rather than nicotine. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
In today's fast-changing real estate market, you need access to the right information to make smart choices.
Online at LanderChevroletofJoplin.com.
Hero Fund USA and KOAM News Now supporting the 4 states' first responders.
Right now at 6:30, the Boys and Girls Club of Southwest Missouri opened its doors for some snowbound kids yesterday.
And kids snowbound once again today. School closings down there. Main roads looking a lot better. Side roads, back roads, a different story, but there's some good news on the horizon. I have the latest in that forecast coming up.
Plus, a local theater hosts a showing of a film documenting the butterfly people phenomena in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 6:29 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is another very cold start out there across the area. A number of schools, you see them down there on the bottom of your screen, are closed again today. And that's not necessarily because the main roads are bad. In fact, most of them are looking considerably better. It's all the side streets, neighborhood roads, back roads that those buses have to go down, still very snow-packed because we just have not had any warming. But there's good news. We're going to start warming today. We're actually going to get some melting done if everything goes right. This is our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. As we've had the last few days, we're kind of looking at the road conditions out there. And take a look, though. They look considerably better. Now, I know this is just one small sample, but they are considerably better out there. But you can still see some shiny spots here and there where there still are some slick spots, still some black ice possibilities out there. MoDOT cameras around the metro area showing, again, main roads looking a lot better. Still some slick spots. That's 32nd in Range Line, 7th in Garden Grove. You can see there, and on Garden Grove itself, right at the intersection. You got to watch out for that as well. Good news is, again, we're going to get some melting done. KDOT camera south of Pittsburgh on 69, again, looking better, but if you look at the shoulders, still some slick spots. Got to watch out. Make sure you keep your hands on the wheels and don't go too fast. I know the main roads are looking a lot better, but black ice on bridges, overpasses, and at intersections still an issue out there. KDOT reporting slick spots on our southern counties, again, from the far west end of the state line, and still partially covered roadways around Mound City, including a stretch of 69. Now, MoDOT is reporting clear roadways on the major thoroughfares in southwest Missouri, but again, black ice still an issue, and of course, neighborhood streets and back roads still an issue out there. The Skywatch Storm Tracker is looking great. It's pretty clear. We're going to have a few clouds today, not bad. It is 15 in Joplin, 15 in Pittsburgh, so another bitterly cold start to the day. Temperatures around the region slowly looking a little better. More of us into the upper teens and near the mid-teens out there. Our wind chills better than yesterday, but still bitterly cold as they're upwards of about 5-6 degrees below zero across the area. Again, we're looking at highs today around the mid-30s, partly cloudy skies, a gusty south wind pushing about 30 miles an hour out there. But again, that will allow us to get some melting done. Could see some additional light snow tonight, more melting tomorrow, another cold wave, and then even warmer temperatures. And we're going to look at all of that in the full forecast a little later. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, we've gotten a bit warmer, but we're still struggling with the cold. Joplin First Church of the Nazarene is one of the area organizations providing shelter during the cold temperatures. However, due to high demand, supplies are running low. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has more.
Nearly 150 people come into the shelter put in place by the Joplin First Church of the Nazarene each day, according to Pastor Shana McGarr.
We've been open now going on 12 days straight.
Even before some of the overnight shelters were open, we were open just because it was so cold and the wind chills were below what I thought was good for anybody to be out in. And so we've been going 12 days straight, 7 to 7 at this point.
It's a daytime shelter that provides 3 meals a day to all those whom it accommodates. However, that can put a strain on a place that does not receive funding.
It's been a little hard because we are not, we're not funded by anybody. We are donation driven, and so with providing 3 meals a day for 100 to 150 people a day, it's been a little bit hard.
Every day, those in need are bused from overnight shelters to the church where they can spend their day, but that too is an expense.
One of the biggest things we do is transporting people. That's a huge need as well. The gas for the van to have to run these people, make multiple trips.
As a leader, it can be difficult to ask for help.
And yes, it is hard. It is hard to ask for that help, but we need it desperately. So we have to do what we have to do to take care of people.
And that care will continue for as long as it takes.
Looking at the weather, it looks like it's going to be at least through this weekend. Running the 7 to 7 all the time. And so at this point, we're willing to be open. If it's cold, we're going to be open. So.
Reporting in Joplin, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The church is seeking donations in the form of additional food, bedding, and kitchen supplies. And the Boys and Girls Club of Southwest Missouri opened its doors for some snowbound kids yesterday. The club opened for all members from 7 yesterday morning to 6 in the evening. For parents, the club provided a safe place to send the kids who might have been cooped up in the house for too long.
We rallied some staff who were available to hang out with the kids today, just so they could move and run around and parents could go to work because everyone's been stuck home since Christmas break, basically. The kids have hardly had any normal school days.
The organization says it had about 80 students show up, ranging from kindergartners to teenagers. And a new documentary looks at a phenomenon that happened affecting children in Joplin following the 2011 tornado. It's called The Butterfly People, and folks in Webb City had a chance to view it at the Route 66 Theater. The documentary involves first and third person accounts of several children reporting butterflies helping them in some way following the tornado.
So after the tornado was over, there were stories all over the place of children and people talking about butterfly people or celestial beings or angels or people that were there for a while, then they were gone, helping them out of situations.
The tornado, it was the talk of the town, lots of stories floating around. We wanted first-person accounts, and 12 years later, these kids are no longer kids, but they're sticking to their story, and I think that's pretty important.
The theater will be hosting another showing of The Butterfly People on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. You can also purchase it online. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Uber is shutting down alcohol delivery app Drizzly 3 years after acquiring it. Well, the latest. Plus, Chris returns with another look at the weather. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Get 25% off your order when you spend just $5 exclusively with mobile order and pay in the McDonald's app. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
In Consumer Watch this morning, President Joe Biden is meeting with congressional leaders at the White House Wednesday to discuss a supplemental spending bill. The proposed legislation aims to send aid to Israel, Ukraine, Taiwan, and the U.S. border with Mexico. This sit-down comes one day after the Senate voted in favor of advancing a short-term funding extension. However, challenges remain and the clock is ticking. John Lorink reports.
Just over 2 weeks into the new year, and U.S. lawmakers are racing around trying to keep the government up and running.
House and Senate negotiators work hard to reach an agreement on top-line government funding levels for the current fiscal year.
If they can't come to terms, funds for key government agencies, including military construction, Veterans Affairs, transportation, the Energy Department, and housing, will dry up.
Work continues to deliver full-year appropriations through regular order. Shutting down the government, even part of it, would interrupt this important progress.
In order to prevent a partial shutdown, the House and Senate have to pass a short-term funding extension and get it to the president's desk. The deadline, 11:59 p.m. Eastern on Friday.
Now, while most Democrats and Republicans want to avoid a shutdown, a small group of hard-right extremists seem dead set on making a shutdown a reality.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says a bipartisan effort is needed for the continuing resolution, but House Speaker Mike Johnson is getting grief from some in the GOP, including the House Freedom Caucus, who posted, quote, "This is what surrender looks like."
The only tactic the hard right has in its playbook is to bully everyone else into submission, just like Donald Trump does.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
In a statement, House Speaker Johnson says the short-term funding bill is, quote, required to complete what House Republicans are working hard to achieve, an end to governance by omnibus, meaningful policy wins, and better stewardship of American tax dollars. And a federal judge in Boston blocked JetBlue's $3.8 billion purchase of Spirit Airlines. The judge agreed with the Justice Department that the proposed merger would harm customers who rely on Spirit's lower prices. JetBlue's lawyers argued a merger of the nation's 6th and 7th largest airlines would control less than 8% of the U.S. market, currently dominated by 4 other airlines. And Uber is shutting down alcohol delivery app Drizzly 3 years after acquiring it for just over $1 billion. When Uber bought the online alcohol delivery service, mobile order sales were surging due to the pandemic. Now the ride-sharing company says it will focus on Uber Eats, which delivers everything from food to groceries to alcohol. And with Valentine's Day less than a month away, Little Debbie has introduced new treats to share with your sweetheart. The new bite-sized vanilla mini donuts and big pack Valentine's cakes join the snack company's other yearly pink and heart-shaped offerings to mark the Day of Love. The freezing temperatures through the southeast are bringing life to a halt in some cities. Houston, Texas residents who are not used to frigid temperatures are flocking to the stores to buy essentials ahead of more bad weather this week. And Ellie Ruiz has their story.
Got him a hat. Yep, cold weather stuff.
Some last-minute shoppers getting those last-minute goods.
I did have to get some things for my dad. He's ill and he's in the hospital, but definitely coming out to get some things for the cold. Some earmuffs for myself, some gloves and things for him, and some more preparation things like water and things of that nature.
Most everyone we spoke with is planning on staying home tomorrow.
Muy feliz porque vamos a estar en la casa.
This mother says she's happy her job won't be open and her kids will be home from school. That's because many say they don't want to risk getting on the roads.
It's not worth it because of the icy roads.
And if you're at home and want to preserve the heat, experts tell us make sure you stop those drafts from coming in.
If you can put your hand up to it and feel that coming in, if you just put some towels there to slow some of that coming in, again, it's not going to be as efficient as, insulation would be, but it will definitely help to slow that down. It will help keep your house warmer.
If you have a space heater, remember it needs space. Follow the 3 feet rule.
With the electric space heaters, it's really important to make sure it's not near anything that's flammable.
And experts also say to make sure that you keep children and pets away from those heaters. They also suggest that you turn on fans to help recirculate the air. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Now here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
As we take a look at our camera on the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin, main roads again looking a lot better. Still some slick spots here and there, and we've got to watch out for that potential for black ice, especially around intersections, bridges, and overpasses. But again, the majority of the main roads, as you can see on the MoDOT cameras around the metro, looking pretty good. But you can also see pretty clearly some of those slick spots and what we're talking about with intersections where there's some snowpack on those side roads. And of course, a number of schools closed today because side roads, side streets in communities, neighborhood streets, back roads still packed with snow. But there's good news. It is eventually going to warm up today, and we might see some melting start to take place. KDOT camera south to Pittsburgh, you probably saw, and you can see now still some ice, slick spots, a little light snow on the shoulders out there, so you got to watch out. KDOT again reporting partially covered, let me rephrase, slick spots from our western edges of our viewing area to the state line in our southern counties, and partially covered roadways up around the Mound City area. And you come to Missouri side, now MoDOT is reporting all clear on the major thoroughfares. But again, black ice, patchy slick spots definitely still possible out there. So you got to slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going. Well, it's almost time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. Those are coming up after the break. But first, why don't we see what these fine folks are doing for us for CBS Mornings.
Hello to you, I'm Gail King, coming right up on CBS Mornings, your favorite morning show. Golden Globe winning actor, that's Clive Owen right there, will be here to talk about playing the legendary detective Sam Spade. He's got a new limited series, it's called Monsieur Spade. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
From the moment you call until you walk through our doors.
Best medical and dental care in the region.
Quality, compassionate.
Quality, compassionate, affordable care.
All right, time for some Wednesday birthdays in the 4 states, and we're going to begin in Lamar with Jacob Strickland celebrating birthday number 6. It says, happy birthday from Mom, Dad, Piper, and Bentley. We love you.
Over in Diamond, Missouri, Mia Hayden turned 7 today. It says, happy birthday, we love you.
And in Galena, Daisy Maggie also celebrating birthday number 9 today. Very happy birthday to you, Daisy.
And happy 10th birthday to Sadie Hummel. She is a 4th grader at St. Paul Elementary. Happy birthday, Sissy. Love all your family.
And Alexia Davis celebrating birthday number 16 over in Pittsburgh with happy birthday love coming from Grandma and Grandpa.
And over in Liberal, Missouri, happy 81st birthday to Dennis Blinko. He loves KOAM. Well, thank you. We love you, Dennis.
Thank you. We certainly do. And we've also got Georgia and Jim Bradley and Anderson celebrating their 54th wedding anniversary. Take a look at that nice throwback picture there. I wonder how they met. Might be a mystery, one that will never be solved. I'm just kidding. Very happy anniversary, though, to the Bradleys. And what a nice, again, birthday and anniversary list. And we love celebrating these with you every day. Caitlin, if they want to celebrate with us, how do they do that?
Well, all you have to do is submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com and be sure to include pictures or any fun messages you want us to read aloud.
Absolutely. And of course, as you see on the bottom of your screen, don't forget about that deadline. If you want to make sure they make it on the air on the appropriate day, you got to meet those deadlines there at the bottom of your screen. All right, so we've been talking about road condition. Most of the main roads are relatively clear. Still some slick spots, still patchy black ice out there, but main roads have improved significantly over the last couple of days. However, as evidenced by those school closings on the bottom of your screen, number of neighborhood streets, side streets, back roads still snow-packed, but today is going to be the day they begin to clear out a bit as we are looking at temperatures warming into the mid-30s out there today. Gusty south wind, so it's going to feel colder to us, but between some sunshine and the warmer temperatures, we're going to start to get some melting done. Now, overnight tonight, we could see some brief light flurries, maybe a little bit of light snow. Not expecting much out of this, no more than maybe a dusting on grassy surfaces, and then again on bridges, overpasses, but it shouldn't be that much in terms of accumulations. But with bridges and overpasses, as you know, especially with what we've been dealing with, it can get pretty slick pretty quickly. And we're going to go mostly cloudy for our Thursday, and initially winds out of the south. Temperatures tomorrow mid, maybe even upper 30s before those winds shift out of the north ahead of increasing clouds out there, and our temperatures are going to start to drop, unfortunately. All right, some police activity in Joplin from the MoDOT camera here at 20th and Range Line. Make sure you pull over for emergency vehicles. You got to get out of the way so they can go do their job. And as we look at temperatures, 15 in Joplin right now. I'm sorry, this guy just pulled right in front of that police car. The things you see with the cameras we have around the area, that's not what you do. You don't do that. You move out of the way or you stop. Okay, it is 15. It feels like 1. South-southwest breeze at 14. You never know what you're going to see with these cameras around the city. Temperatures in the area getting closer to more upper and mid-teens. That's still very cold out there, and you factor in the breeze, and we still have wind chills below 0, but this is a 15-degree improvement in our wind chills, where yesterday a lot of us were upwards of 20 below 0 out there, considerably better today, and we're going to be better, at least for a couple of days out there. Mid-30s today, partly cloudy, south breeze gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. Can get some melting done. We got those light flurries, maybe some brief light snow out there. Low 20s tonight. So that puts our wind chills 10 to 15 degrees above 0. So yeah, that's still bitterly cold, but that's 10 to 15 above instead of 10 to 15 below. South wind still gusting at 30. Tomorrow, south breeze will turn around, shift out of the north at 5 to 10 later in the day. More melting taking place, some mid-upper 30s out there, mostly cloudy skies, and then our temperatures will begin to drop. So we're going to go from the mid-30s in the afternoon down into the single digits tomorrow night. So we're not quite done with the frigid cold yet, but warmer weather right around the corner. 20 on Friday. Sorry, I know we want to be done with it. But we got the 20s Friday, Saturday, cold overnight temperatures, and we start to warm up as we head toward the weekend and into next week. Now, next week there are rain chances all the way up until Friday. That's really not that big of a deal because A, we absolutely still need rain across the area, and B, take a look. These temperatures much closer to average as we go into the low to mid 40s with our overnight lows in the mid to upper 30s. It is almost going to feel like shorts weather next week. It's not really going to be shorts weather, but by golly, it's going to feel like it just a few more days until we get there. Let's check your forecast. And coming up, when we make the transition over to Fox 14, which by the way, that happens at 7 a.m., we'll see why one man dressed in a chicken suit and he was seen walking around in the snow. That story and a lot more at 7 a.m.
As a platoon sergeant for the 772nd Engineer Company, earning numerous medals, we are proud to salute Matthew Pearson, a four-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The city of Neodesha, Kansas welcomes a new city administrator. The city hired Brogan Jones last fall, and he began serving in the position Monday. He spent the past 7 months as city administrator in Marion, Kansas. Jones was a code enforcement building inspector in Lyons, Kansas for 2.5 years. And Joplin First Church of the Nazarene is providing shelter for people to get out of the harsh winter conditions. Recently, the church has hosted nearly 150 people, according to the pastor. The church provides a place to shower and 3 meals a day. However, due to high demand, resources are running low. The pastor is asking for donations or assistance from the community. They're requesting items for sandwiches, including meat and bread, as well as clothing and bedding. And a new documentary looks at a phenomenon that affected children in Joplin following the 2011 tornado. It's called The Butterfly People, and folks in Webb City had a chance to view it at the Route 66 Theater. The documentary involves first and third person accounts of several children reporting butterflies helping them in some way following the tornado. The theater will be hosting another showing of The Butterfly People on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. You can also purchase it online. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, we're looking at some melting getting done today as we go into the mid-30s, partly cloudy skies, south breeze gusting upwards of 30. Few light flurries, maybe some brief light snow, no appreciable accumulations, but might generate a few additional slick spots here and there. Low 20s for our lows and winds out of the south still gusting to 30. We head into our Thursday, more melting taking place, mid-upper 30s out there, and then the winds will shift out of the north at about 5 to 10 miles an hour, and those temperatures will start to drop, so we'll go mid-30s down into the single digits. 20s Friday and Saturday, then we start to warm up into next week with rain chances to kick off the next work week, and temperatures finally back to normal as we go back in the low to mid 40s.
All right, I am looking forward to that. I'll take a little rain if it means that you're not freezing.
Exactly.
So. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making balsamic pork chops in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. An 8-year CBS News investigation exposed car seat safety issues, and now auto safety regulators missed a deadline to fix the problem. Next on CBS Mornings, Chris Van Cleve talked with the Secretary of Transportation looking for answers.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we'll see how a retired fire captain came up with a way to fight electric vehicle fires safely.
Plus, Will Morris joins us in the studio for another Wildcat Wednesday. We're going to talk about public speaking, which, believe it or not, is something I don't enjoy. Here, fine. Public, no. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.
Join us for the coolest event of the year. The Polar Plunge is taking.
And if what's in the barn is good,